Did you know that existing limitations regarding infrastructure affect firm productivity by around 40% for many African countries? SDG9 promotes building a resilient infrastructure and inclusive and sustainable industrialization. It aims to foster innovation globally. This SDG is one of the most tangible ones to the private sector, as industry and innovation are usually associated with businesses. My name is Almar Bok, and I studied the Master Global Business and Sustainability at Rotterdam School of Management, Erasmus University. I am the student ambassador of SDG9, and I'll explain to you why sustainable innovation, infrastructure, and industrialization is important, and how businesses can adopt this goal. Creating new business models, services, and products is essential for almost any company. SDG9 promotes innovating in a sustainable way. It also strives to reduce the environmental impact of industries, for example, through increased resource efficiency and sustainable infrastructure. Innovations can stimulate growth and thus create new jobs and income. Unfortunately, developing countries are lagging behind in industry innovation, partly because of lower education levels and lack of resources. This contributes to difficulties in finding a job and earning a livable income. SDG9 stresses the importance of domestic technology development and research and innovation in the less developed countries, and the need for access to internet all around the globe. In the next video, Ying Zhang, Associate Professor of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, will tell you what is needed to work towards balanced development for a sustainable and equal society. She will introduce you to a new concept of globalization and explain why SDG9 can be seen as the backbone for all other SDGs. Finally, the business case for SDG9 will be presented by Meiny Prins. She is CEO of Priva, a leading company in the indoor climate industry and founder of the Sustainable Urban Delta Initiative. She will explain how her company contributes to innovation and infrastructure of sustainable cities.
We live in a world where we were allowed to create so much wealth in human history. However, unfortunately, we have badly brought up imbalanced development, inequality, and unsustainability. Think of the continuous imbalance and inequality in manufacturing value added per capita, which is, for example, only $100 in least development countries compared to over $4,500 in Europe and North America. Such phenomena do not only exist between nations and industries, but also exist in the field of innovation. Although innovation is meant to help liberalize our labor work from inefficient processes, we still struggle with our exaggerated and unnecessary desires and fail in taking our responsibility to a broader community, including our offspring. The core of this issue has two dimensions. The first is imbalanced, unequal access to and distribution of resources between people at the same time. This is called panel well-being failure. The second is a non-inclusiveness of our current business model to our offspring's well-being in the long run, which is called timeline well-being failure. Moreover, the integration of the PWF and TWF became the source to exhaust our planet. So, how can we deal with these dimensions and prevent severe scenarios for people and our planet? In this video, I will explain what is needed to shift the dynamics behind PWF and TWF, and how to work towards the balanced development for sustainable and equal global society. Let's have a closer look at PWF and TWF and the dynamics behind them. Firstly, the panel well-being failure, PWF, calls upon us to form a joint force at both the cognitive and behavioral level. At a cognitive level, we need to embrace inclusiveness and disregard discrimination. For this, we need a holistic view to social economic accountability that goes beyond the economic dimension. We should appreciate the uniqueness of each other's talent and consider it as an exceptional driver for innovation. We also need more than agreement of intention. At the behavioral level, we have to take actions to pursue what we want for the whole community. We need to build a new regulations and legal reframing beyond national borders. Well, this way, we can converge the gap and help inferiors to learn and catch up, as well as help superiors to grow into even better entity. Secondly, the traditional economic accountability has to fade out in order to solve the timeline well-being failure. We should prioritize an alternative measure system that incorporates circular economy. Technology and innovation can help us building it up via a non-linear ecosystem. Therefore, a closed loop from waste to resource can be built up. Thirdly, to prevent a disaster caused by interaction between panel well-being failure and timeline well-being failure, a long-run strategy at a global level, including inclusiveness vision and sustainable infrastructure for the future industry and circular economy, needs to be supported. For instance, the Belt Road Initiative, initiated by China in 2013, is a development strategy aiming to bring a joint prosperity and infrastructure development to more than 150 countries and international organizations all over the world. Once we shift the dynamics behind PWF and TWF, a new concept of globalization will emerge. New globalization means each actor of the new system is not only independently self-sustained, but also ecologically dependently cooperated. In this way, a sustained local but interacted global community can evolve. To get there, we need to bear in mind that without technology and innovation, industrialization will not happen. And without industrialization, development does not happen. But we need a more adaptive innovation approach that creates new jobs and demand while replacing old ones with AI. This means that the exclusiveness-focused jobless innovation needs to be involved to inclusiveness-focused sustaining innovation. When we related this to the SDGs, we can see that SDG9 is actually the backbone of all SDGs. SDG9 is an engine to drive industrial transition and is economic foundation of society and community. Besides, innovation in infrastructure and industrialization is a key to facilitate revolution to the new order of the world. In a new world with sustained and sustainable system, we will be able to avoid timeline well-being failure and panel well-being failure. Let's embrace our positive force to cure the issues of our current globalized world. Our joint effort can move us to a world where a generally sustained new globalization will be born.
In the next 30 years, every 3 months, a new city with more than 9 million inhabitants will arise in a lower delta. And many of these inhabitants are living in poor circumstances or in very small but expensive apartments, breathing smoke and smelling sewage. So how wonderful would it be if more and more city governments, city planners, real estate developers, and the inhabitants themselves would realize that an integrated approach is needed, creating more sustainable urban deltas. Because more and more people realize that there is an urgent need to create a healthy working and living environment with clean air, clean energy, drinkable water, smart mobility, healthy and safe food. Priva is a high-tech company that develops hardware, software and services in the field of climate control, energy savings and water reuse. We are nowadays active in horticulture, building automation and indoor growing, with almost 500 colleagues, 16 local offices and 450 installation partners. We support and service our customers all over the world. Our mission started once realizing that we can help our growers to increase their yields using less energy and reusing as much water as possible. So we help them to have a better profit at the end of the year using less natural resources. That is sustainability in its heart. Our mission also states that making profit is not a goal in itself. It is a meaning for continuity, for creating a climate for people to grow. Priva is purpose-driven, not profit-driven. With our technology and services, we want to contribute, creating sustainable urban deltas. But what does a sustainable urban delta exactly look like? Let's try to imagine. It is 2050. 80% of all people are living in enormous metropolises. More than 50 megacities in this world will have more than 10 million inhabitants, from New York to Shenzhen to Mumbai. Economic growth is not so important anymore than quality of life. These cities are becoming the major drivers of radical innovations and sustainability. So these metropolises living and located in deltas are also the major drivers of radical innovations and more sustainable environments. The mayors of these enormous metropolises really like to visit the Netherlands, because for many years the Netherlands is a front runner of a good organized, clean, creative and innovative society. Many people are living in self-supportive communities without all kinds of rules and regulations. It is completely self-supporting. But it's not only a dream. There are already megacities that can reach this status within the coming 30 years. There are today already best practices that can be a source of inspiration. But making a change is never easy, as high interests are at stake. Many of the current organizations are not willing to adopt the idea of sustainable urban deltas. To this end, I believe that the change will happen with awareness, a powerful shift of mind. I do not have to convince you that there is an urgent need to change. It is not about gaining power or gaining more profits. It's about gaining a better quality of life, a future for us all. I once met an African leader, and he shared with me that there is a silent revolution going on. If you can connect these people, you can make the change. I believe that you are the one who can really manage and do it.